We're here chatting with one of our favorite DJs, DJ Troy Michael, who'll give us all the tips and tricks when it comes to DJ services. Thanks so much for being here today, Troy.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I was thinking a great place to start today is if you would like to tell us a little bit more about your business and what you specialize in.
Yeah. So I'm a wedding DJ, and for me, my DJ's DJ Troy Michael. All I do is specialize in weddings. So I generally don't do club events or corporate events. I came from the nightlife industry, but my business today is 100% weddings. So I like to say I'm a wedding DJ.
You mentioned a little bit that you got started in like the nightclub industry or that side, but tell us a little bit more how you came into the wedding industry.
Yeah, so I spent many years in nightlife. I was a nightclub DJ, and I freelanced with different companies. And ultimately, at some point, all my friends started getting married, and they said, hey, we need a DJ. So I ended up DJing for their weddings. And then later I started working for some other companies that did a lot of weddings. And so I went from nightlife to weddings. And for me, I think, it was a good transition because I got a little older. Nightlife was taking a toll on me. I think I can tell you nightlife is fun. Nightclubs are fun. But at the end of the day, I was getting paid to get people as drunk as possible, as fast as possible. And today I get to be at someone's wedding. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and I get to do that pretty much every weekend. So very different, but it was kind of my transition from nightlife into weddings and still being able to DJ.
Yeah, that sounds like such a natural pivot, and it worked out really well. Okay, so I'd love to just chat more about how you would describe your DJ style.
Three things. I guess we'll look at MC style, we'll look at music style, and maybe mixing style. How's that? Yeah. So MC style, I tell people I'm gonna be true to my personality, what I believe makes a fun wedding. So I'm a pretty laid back, chill guy. I'm not over the top. At most weddings, I'm just there to facilitate the evening, introduce the bride and groom, let people know what's going on with speeches. And I'm not the guy that does games or has some sort of routine or jokes. I want things to happen naturally, and my philosophy is that people at a wedding will have the most fun when they can dance, when they can drink, when they can mingle. So for me as an MC, I try to keep things short, I try to keep things lighthearted, and at the end of the day, let's get to the fun part of the wedding, which is really when people can dance and drink. So that's kind of how I like to describe my MC style.
That's fantastic.
Music style, I think best way to describe my music style is that I love to play a lot of different genres. I'm not the guy that just plays hip hop all night or EDM all night. I like to play a broad mix of music that matches my clients, that matches the vibe that they want, and that's gonna be different from every wedding. But at the end of the day, I tell people, I wanna play variety, I wanna play the crowd, and I don't want people to think that I'm a predictable DJ. I like to sometimes say I'm an unpredictable DJ, and I'm not the guy that leans towards maybe the group line dance songs, Electric Slide, Cupid Shuffle, Cha-Cha Slide. Nothing wrong with that, it's just not my style. I generally like to play music that people love, sing, dance to, but often songs that they don't expect. So for me, I like to play variety, dig deep, play tracks that people love, but maybe did not expect. So that's kind of like how I can describe my music style.
Yeah, great.
My mixing style, I think that's maybe something that defines my style. I tell people I don't play like the whole 3.5 minute version of the song. I want to play the best parts of the song. I also tell people that I like to mix different genres together as opposed to just do 30 minutes of hip hop followed by 30 minutes of EDM followed by, 20 minutes of throwbacks. So for me, I like to mix different genres together and do it in such a way where I'm playing the best parts of each song. I think weddings in Hawaii particularly, our end times are very early. We have, maybe 2 hours of dance music, which really, if you think about it, that equates to, roughly 60 songs, right? And so for me, I want to play the best parts of each song and mix out and move on and keep the energy flowing. So it's a little bit about my mixing style.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, I do feel like we get to work with you quite a bit, and I will say you are notorious for being able to get all the crowds on the dance floor right at the very beginning, even sometimes before the grand entrance or before dinner. Like, you're great at getting the crowd on the dance floor and having a good time.
And I think part of that is, playing a broad mix of music and trying to play something for everybody as opposed to, just playing one genre of music.
Next thing we're going to chat about is, how do most couples find you?
That's a good question. Don't do a ton of advertisement, not super active on social media. I think a lot of couples find me via other vendors such as yourself, videographers, photographers, venues. So basically places and people that I've worked with often recommend me. So I think most of my clients find me through other people that I've worked with. Sometimes they'll find me maybe on social media, but I think a lot of my clients are basically referrals from vendors or other venues.
What is your favorite part of the wedding day?
Favorite part? Oh my gosh. I will say I have maybe 2 favorite parts.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I look at a wedding kind of like a trip, okay? You have a plane and you have a takeoff and you're flying and you have a landing. So my favorite parts are basically the very start, which is usually the grand entrance, and the end. And, for me, I like the start because that's where I think that's going to set the tone for the rest of the evening. And I like the ending, the last song of the night. That's my favorite part as well, because that's basically when you land that plane. I'm the pilot of that wedding, the way I look at it. And so you want to have a good takeoff, you want to have a good ending and landing. And so my favorite parts, basically the grand entrance, last song of the night.
So what makes your services in particular stand out in the industry?
So I would say that, there's a lot of bigger DJ companies. For me, it's just me. I don't manage other DJs. I don't subcontract. And at the end of the day, when couples work with my company, at the end of the day, it's me. I always tell people I'm not really a DJ company. You'll always be working with me. I act as a DJ, I act as the MC, I answer the emails, point of contacts. And so I think that maybe sets me apart. And maybe the other thing that maybe sets me apart is that my setups are very minimalistic, and I'm not trying to do something over the top with my DJ equipment. And the way I look at my setups is that I want it to be maybe immersive. I want it to be part of a design of a wedding as opposed to maybe something more over the top and flashy. So those 2 things maybe make me different.
Amazing. I do think that our couples give us a lot of feedback, and they say how personal the experience is with you and that they feel like they know you by the time it's their wedding day. So I feel like you're doing a great job at that.
Okay, great.
So let's talk music right now. What are some of the current songs that are super popular or that you're seeing a lot of couples request for things like first dance or ceremony, processionals, any kind of standout songs that you can think of?
I don't think there's any particular songs that stand out, but I can maybe tell you what's kind of trendy maybe. So I think I find couples now are they're picking music that's very personal. I guess like an example, I have a wedding coming up where the couple met at a Coldplay concert. So they are using a lot of Coldplay music throughout their ceremony and the rest of the day. Some of the songs might not work lyrically for the ceremony, but we were able to find, instrumental versions of the songs. So I think the trend is maybe finding things that are very personal and not maybe more mainstream. And then the second thing I see is a lot of people using, for example, for a first dance, they're doing mashups or doing a combination of 2 or 3 songs versus just 1 song. So that's kind of a trend I'm seeing now.
How would you say that working with a wedding planning team helps make the experience better for you and the couple overall?
I would say the main thing, I think, for me is time management. And I see a lot of stuff on social media now. They're talking about wedding math. I don't know what that really is, but I'll give you my math, okay? So let's say you have a wedding with a budget of $60,000 and it's a 6-hour day. So that is $10,000 per hour, right? So for me, coordinators make sure every minute counts. For me, it's important that the wedding stay on time, on track. And a lot of venues in Hawaii, we have that 10 p.m. cutoff time. So if you want to have a lot of dancing, you want to value your DJ, you need to stay on track. And so for me, I think a good coordinator will keep that couple on schedule, on track, and value every single minute of their wedding day. Back to the wedding math. So if your wedding is $60,000 and it's a 6-hour wedding and you're 15 minutes late, my math tells me that you just wasted $2,500 because you were 15 minutes late for whatever reason. So when coordinators keep the wedding on track, in my opinion, they are saving the couple money because it's very, very easy to get off track and fall behind schedule. And so for me, I think that's probably one of the most important parts of having a good coordinator and working with, For the Good and other coordinators.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and I think we echo the sentiment, and likewise, we appreciate getting to work alongside amazing DJs just like yourself. So thank you for
and I think maybe a little bit more about that. I think
Yeah.
Working with a couple, I want them to have fun. And so if they're going into the wedding prepared, relaxed, it's very easy for me to get them to have fun. If they're coming into the wedding worried, stressed, a lot of our weddings are destination weddings, and it is extremely stressful for a couple to fly into Hawaii 4 or 5 days before their wedding and have their family and friends drive to a place they've never been to before. And so a good coordinator will make sure that that's all set, and when they show up at the wedding, the guest and the couple, they're relaxed and ready to have fun, as opposed to being stressed going into the wedding.
Yeah, that is so important. I
Yeah.
100% agree.